soldier that they are labeling as troubled finds a way to sneak into a tourist group near the DMZ, near North Korea, from South Korea, which, by the way, is where they were standing at. He finds a way earlier to evade MPs and protective custody. We're finding out that they didn't even cuff him. He finds a way to do this, and yet he gets across the DMZ, a supposed weaker, more ceremonial section of the DMZ, and yet we are expected to believe that North Korea is holding this guy, and we're going to try to negotiate to get him back. But yet at the same time, though, you expect us not to believe that this guy did not leave so that way he could not, I don't know, possibly give away any type of information that North Korea could then pass along to China to then eventually use on us at a later date. You honestly expect us to believe that this right is just some case of a guy being troubled?
In North Korean captivity, speaking out.
I'm praying for him, and I hope that everybody else will pray for him too.
Private Travis King baffled American officials and set off an international uproar when he bolted to North Korea on Tuesday. Tensions between America and North Korea already ramping up, with the North recently testing 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles. The U.S. is delicately approaching the isolated nation, reaching out to the North Korean army and through other countries, including South Korea and Sweden.
We retain a number of channels through which we can send messages to the DPRK.
But back home in Racine, Wisconsin, King's family waiting with worry.
I think that he got a problem. He needs some help.
Sarah Leslie from New Zealand was on the same tour of the DMZ as King when he suddenly bolted across the border.
And my first thought was, what an absolute idiot.
Leslie identifying King in this picture she said she took minutes before. While serving in South Korea, King had run-ins with the law. Just before he fled to North Korea, King spent nearly 2 months in a South Korean prison for not paying a fine for damaging a police car, according to a South Korean government official. In 2016, Otto Warmbier, an American student, was detained in North Korea for more than a year. He was released to the U.S. in a vegetative state and died shortly after. Otto's father, Fred, said Private King deserves America's full support to get him home.
He willingly ran across the border. That makes him quite a bit different from your son.
Absolutely. But now that he's there, the facts are exactly the same. They're going to hold him hostage, and they're going to use him as a political prisoner.
And, you know, Savannah, the big missing piece here is North Korea itself. We still haven't heard from them. They haven't even acknowledged that they have Private King in custody. And it's really only after we hear from Pyongyang that we're going to really get a better sense of this young man's fate.
We're going to be spending some time talking about this, but also one more thing. There's going to be a clip at the very end of this video that's also going to be on the Claymore channel as well, explaining what the hell happened to this movie review and exactly why it has been pulled from YouTube and the battles that I'm having with copyright and what's going to happen now once we get done, because I did finally get it released. But we need to talk about this because obviously somebody deserves the Darwin Award for stupidity. Or it's very, very possible that this person that they're claiming was troubled and had been in trouble on several occasions with South Korean police, or the police in the area where he was stationed at on deployment. Yeah, they expect us to believe that this guy right here is not just some guy who was trying to defect, which I feel like this is exactly what this person was trying to do. But obviously, we have to keep our mouths closed when we make accusations. But we're also going to be talking about why it is that they may try to turn this guy into some form of sympathetic figure. Now, with that right there out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, this guy, the guy that you saw, he decides to obviously cause some problems, get himself arrested, which, by the way, is what ultimately happened. He sits in custody for a while. Then he eventually breaks free of custody, puts on plain clothes, joins a tour group, and then finds a way to bolt across the DMZ in North Korea. And they're telling us that in North Korea, that this guy right here is being held as a prisoner, which more than likely is the case. But don't think for 1 second that they are not using this person to gather what kind of information that they, that whatever they can extract. Now, there is one thing that I do need to say about the very last part of that initial clip that I showed you guys, and that right there would be the case of Otto Warmbier. I was actually a little bit upset about that. I understand the whole F around and find out. Okay, I understand that. I 100% get that. But here's the deal about Otto Warmbier. When he was given back to us, he was given back to us pretty much in a vegetative state, and he died shortly thereafter. I don't think he was over there giving away state secrets, nor did he represent this nation in the military. So I don't think these right here are the same exact situations. So I have no idea where Otto Warmbier's father got that from. I don't know what he's thinking, but then again, then maybe he knows better than me because obviously he raised Otto Warmbier. But still at the same time, though, you can't sit here and tell me that this boy right here, which, by the way, you've got members of his family saying that they think he's got problems. You can't sit here and tell me that he did not do this, nor was he not thinking about doing this, or it could be something more like, I don't know, maybe some form of foul play. Maybe they allowed him to go over there. I really and truly don't know. But for the time being, I'm going to label this guy as a defector. Now, an explanation was given on CBS about this. They brought in a military correspondent to kind of help explain what was going on there. Let's watch the next few minutes. We're going to come back on the other side, and I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on this, because this right here to me seems like not just the typical run-of-the-mill crazy person crossing the DMZ, which I find very, very odd that he was able to do that given all the obstacles that are there.
More on this, we're bringing in national security correspondent for CBS News, David Martin. David, what do we know about this person and why he crossed into North Korea?
Well, we know for openers his identity. He is a Army second-class private named Travis King. He had been serving time in the brig in South Korea, had recently been released from the brig, and was being escorted to a plane that would take him out of the country. We don't know why he was in the brig, but you can presume it was fairly serious if it merited incarceration. He was escorted through the security point at the air terminal, and then somehow managed to make his way back out of the air terminal and then up to the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and attach himself to a group of tourists that was taking a tour of Panmunjom, which is the location where the armistice ending the Korean War was signed and is a tourist spot on the tour of South Korea. And at some point, he just managed to dash across the line, separating the South Korea from North Korea. Escaping into North Korea sounds like a contradiction in terms, but that is what it looks like he was trying to do.
David, how easy is it to cross? I mean, is it possible that it's done as a mistake? And talk to us about just the gravity of crossing into North Korean territory.
Well, it's not possible to cross it by mistake. There's just no being confused about where the line is. Most of the DMZ is heavily mined with barbed wire obstacles, but at the treaty site, Panmunjom, it's just a line on the ground. There are guards on either side, North Korean guards on one side, American and South Korean guards on the other. But they are largely a ceremonial guard, and it would be possible to dash past them over the line. Once you do it, of course, you become a pawn in the Cold War between the U.S. and...
A lot of this doesn't make any sense. So you're in custody. You're being held in the brig. You then want to board a flight, which I'm guessing is a commercial flight, to get out of South Korea. But then somehow or another you decide to break away and cross into a very weak portion of the DMZ that's mostly ceremonial with a tour group to get across an area of the DMZ that is not very, very well fortified. Yeah, there's a lot about this situation that does not smell right. Also, something else, too, about the private second class Travis King. I can only guess because he is a private second class, and on the surface, you would probably think that maybe he'd only been in the Army for a few months or whatnot, maybe a couple of months. But the fact that he's on deployment already, which by the way, I don't really understand how they. I mean, look, I'm prior service Marine. Normally, if you get deployed like that, you know, it's not impossible to get deployed shortly after basic, or get deployed shortly after MCT, or once you get to your unit, or once you get to through your MOS. I'm just going through my own personal experience. The way it went for me was I went to boot, came home on leave, went to MCT, then went straight to my MOS school, and then I went to the fleet, and then I was deployed 2.5 months later. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think it's impossible for him to be deployed that fast. However, what I do want to know is exactly how long he's been in. Is this a case where we've got a guy who's been in the Army for, say, 3 or 4 years, maybe even re-enlisted at the end of his first 2-year enlistment, if he even signed a 2-year contract, and then got busted down? I mean, it was recently reported that he had been getting into a lot of trouble in South Korea. Okay, he had several run-ins with the law there, but yet somehow or another you managed to break away from protective custody after they've let you out, because obviously they've got to escort you there to your destination. You get on a commercial flight, and then all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere you end up bolting with a tourist group, and then next thing you know you're trying to bolt across into the DMZ to get to the other side. Wow, something that this right here just doesn't make any sense. I mean, either way, though, I think that we should give this guy the Darwin Award, and I think we should just go ahead and label it what it is. It seems to me like this right here is a defector who tried to actually defect. Maybe he did it because he was pissed off with his country. Maybe he did it because he was against the patriarchy. Maybe he did it because he's anti-American. I have no idea what the hell it was. Then again, though, he could, in fact, be completely crazy. But then again, though, if he was so crazy and didn't know anything, then obviously how the hell would he not know to go to the DMZ, the weakest part, which is mostly ceremonial, according to the correspondent, and not break across? I got to say right now that regardless of what happens here, I agree with the girl in the glasses. This guy was, in fact, a full-on, full-fledged idiot. I can already tell you right now that the media over the next couple of weeks, the next few months or whatever, until this situation gets resolved, they're going to try to treat this guy the exact opposite way. They're going to try to pull the sympathy card, all kinds of crap like that there. I could already see it coming, so just go ahead and brace for it. Guys, with that right there being said, let me go ahead and explain what happened to this video, and I'm going to go ahead and close this video down. This video, by the way, will also be, this clip in particular will also be in the video that's scheduled for Claymore tomorrow. I'll leave a link to the John Claymore channel because the video I'm doing tomorrow is about Andrew Tate and this recent situation where apparently, like Liz Wheeler, she made some very, very colorful comments that I think I put this way here. I don't think it gets covered enough, and I think that there's some points that are being made, and there's also some hyperbolic stuff here that could be taken a little bit extreme, but I'll be explaining that tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get this next clip, and we're going to close this thing now. Okay, guys, if you remember, I released a video about 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, asking what happened to my Zulu review. And I explained that I had uploaded the content, or I'd uploaded the video a lot, only for the video to continue to get copyright claims. And by the way, the copyright claims that are being put on that video were actually blocking it. So I eventually took it down. It was about a 40-minute long video. So I went back and basically remade the project. I thought to myself, you know what, as mad as I am about this, maybe it wouldn't be so bad trying to remake it. So I did remake it. And I released it yesterday. And of course, when I mean yesterday, I'm talking about Saturday. Remember, I do my videos the day before and then release them the day after because of what's going on. So what happened is that I went through the same exact copyright upload, for copyright checks again. And this time I got to the 6th time, and it wasn't much to fix. And then out of the middle of nowhere, it got released. It was able to go through with no copyright claim or anything. And the video was even getting some traction. It was right around 40 or 50 views, which by the way is kind of fast for me given my channel size and given the fact that I'm transitioning the content. And then for whatever reason, another copyright claim was put in. So I went and looked at it, and I thought to myself, the copyright claim is not that big of a deal because this is one of those segments that I think would probably be the least important part of that video. So I went to the options screen, and at first I disputed the claim. Okay, at first I actually disputed the claim, and I realized that what it was another case where you've got another content creator out there who actually abuses the copyright system, because it was the same it's the same channel, the same people who were copyrighting. And remember, these same people will, and by the way, I use clips from both this platform and I use clips that I quite frankly burn to the computer itself, like the whole ripping process, like most movie essay guys do. So they kept on raising hell about the same clips. So what I did was I tried to trim out the segment, and I thought I had trimmed out the segment. The problem was that the 34-second segment that got trimmed out is not what got trimmed out. YouTube, for whatever reason, chose to trim out the rest of the video, basically making it a 25-second short. Yeah, that's how screwed up it was. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get made fun of, which is okay. You guys know me. Chin down, hands up, go forward. We're going to remake this video, but we're not going to remake this video now. Instead, what's going to happen is that I'm going to remake it in the form of an Isla Lawanda 2 Rorke's Drift Zulu portrayal in film. Don't worry, I'll be doing that there, and I'll probably release it months from now. But I had to take down the video, obviously, because by the time YouTube got done trimming out the parts that were copyrightable, next thing you know, I had basically nothing. It was just a small video to watch, and obviously I had to take that video down. However, amazingly though, the one on Hannah with Jane is still up. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to release this video right here that I just did. Obviously, I'm releasing it on Monday. I'm going to come back midweek, and I'm going to release another veteran story, probably on Thursday. I'm thinking about doing the U.S. 4-star one. I've already got 3 separate projects ready to go. However, the next military film we're going to do is First Blood book compared to the actual film itself. So that video right there, hopefully I'll have it out on Sunday night. I don't think I'm going to have the copyright issue on that one that I have with this one right here, but we're going to just punt that project for the time being, and obviously it's a lesson learned by me, and once again, like I always say, chin down, hands up, and move forward. Guys, with that right there being said, I apologize about taking that particular video down on Gear Issue 33. You probably, I'll leave a link to Gear Issue 33 anyways, though, in the Claymore channel. Obviously, it's very hard to trust a content creator when stuff like this happens, and obviously I screwed up in this situation. Guys, please make sure you guys hit that like button. Please subscribe, share the video, hit the notifications bell, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.